Welcome back to Sorting the Money Thing. Over the next couple of segments, we're going to look at tithing, or the tithe. Acts Churches has a statement of belief, and one of those statements reads like this. It's number 10. The privilege and responsibility of wise stewardship of all that God has given, including the practice of tithing to the local church. It's expected that every church and every minister in our movement upholds this tenet of faith. The tithe is 10% or 1/10 of our increase. The biblical pattern for tithing was set very, very early, set in the book of Genesis chapter 14, where Abraham brings a tithe to Melchizedek. And then it's repeated, we see it right throughout Scripture, particularly the Old Testament. Some would say that it's not a principle that's brought into the New Testament, but this is incorrect. It's actually assumed in the New Testament that a disciple of Jesus tithes. It's just what you do. In fact, Matthew 23:23 says this: "What sorrow awaits you teachers of religious law and you Pharisees, hypocrites," it says, "for you are careful to tithe even the tiniest income from your herb gardens, but you ignore the more important aspects of the law, justice, mercy, and faith. You should tithe, yes, but do not neglect the more important things." Luke chapter 4 and verse 16 says this: "When he came to the village of Nazareth, his boyhood home," it's talking of Jesus, "he went as usual to the synagogue on the Sabbath and stood up and read the scriptures." Part of going to the synagogue on the Sabbath was to bring your tithe. It's assumed that that's what happened. It's assumed that that was the practice, the regular practice of Jesus, because that's what they did. Should we tithe? Yes. Very simple answer. Yes, we should. It's God's way of doing things. It's His principle. I believe absolutely that it's what connects us to the economy of heaven. Are you under a curse if you do not tithe? No. Absolutely not. I've heard this taught before. It's absolutely wrong. You're not under a curse. It's your choice to do with what you want to do. But it is the principle of God. Have you ever tried to download something off the internet without being connected to it? It simply doesn't work. Tithing is like that to the economy of heaven. It connects us to the economy of heaven. From heaven's perspective, the tithe is intended to finance the church and all the basic functions of the church, and the tithe is needed. I believe that you can believe in Jesus and not tithe. However, I don't believe that you can be a disciple of Christ and not tithe, because it's what He did and it's what He teaches us. I look forward to the next couple of segments when we can unpack this a little more.